The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to the program, folks. September the 5th, you're with the Editor-in-Chief live with Lester's Oil, your multi-ingredient omega-3 healthy aging supplement backed by thousands and thousands of satisfied customers. Get the benefits of 6 supplements in one capsule to support joint, heart and brain health. Take as directed, read the label. It is about health. Auckland. Hi, folks. I'm Duncan Garner. Welcome to the show today. Today, fresh concerns over the rights of academics at New Zealand universities to speak out and exercise free speech. The latest saga, a leaked Auckland Law School survey, where more than 30% of academics say they feel like they can't speak out. 1 in 3 say they feel bullied by university leaders. So we'll look at this. I'll tell you shortly what one university leader said in response to this. And the country's biggest ever gaming festival is showcased this weekend in Auckland. The future of gaming, the bells and whistles and everything we don't know yet, that will be on display. And do you want to win a brand new $70,000 Wildtrak Ford Ranger Ute? Stay tuned, you could win it. It's news time right now. Here's MediaWorks Deputy News Editor. It is Grace Cocker, and a very good morning.
A fleet of 4 waka will guide Kingi Tuheitia to his final resting place at Taupiri Moanga this morning. Funeral proceedings start at 10 a.m, where he'll be taken from Turanga Waiwai Marae and guided down the Waikato River. A successor will be anointed prior to the proceedings getting underway. Survivors of the latest school shooting in the US have described grim scenes. At least 4 people are dead and more than 30 injured after a 14-year-old opened fire. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez spoke to a student who was holed up in a classroom.
As they were exiting that classroom, going into a hallway, she says that she saw someone who was dead on the ground with a sheet.
A scathing report into the deadly 2017 Grenfell Tower inferno found all 72 deaths were avoidable. The UK's Sir Martin Morbick points the finger at successive governments, building firms and the fire service.
Those who lived in the tower were badly failed over a number of years by those who were responsible.
The public's throwing its weight behind Auckland's Eden Park hosting more concerts. CEO Nick Sortner says of the 2,000 public submissions received, about 94% were in favour.
We have a capacity of close to 60,000. It creates huge economic benefit for the area, whether it be in the local bars, restaurants or hotels. It creates 3,000 direct jobs at the park.
Pope Francis has blamed cats and little dogs for falling population rates. He heaped praise on Indonesians for their large families during a recent visit, suggesting people elsewhere chose pets over children. To sport, 2 more medals but still no gold for New Zealand at the Paris Paralympics. Holly Robinson bagging bronze in the F46 shot put, while sprinter Danielle Atchinson secured silver in the T36 100 metres on TVNZ.
I literally gave it my all out there and so close again, so yeah, I'm really happy.
Unseeded Czech tennis player Karolina Mukova has overcome illness to reach the US Open semi-finals. She's beaten her Brazilian opponent in straight sets despite having to take several toilet breaks.
Yeah, sorry for it if it disturbed anyone, but I had no other choice.
And the name's been revealed for the new Warriors bar in the Auckland suburb of Kingsland. Several options were submitted, with stakeholders choosing full-time. That's news and sport.
Thanks, Grace. And they're cutting out, I see they're cutting out kids. Cutting out kids for dogs.
I have a little dog. I have a little dog and no kids.
Oh, you're one of them. This is what.
I'm one of them.
So what's the Pope said?
Yeah, basically saying that the reason, he was visiting Indonesia, doing this big tour, saying that they've got kids there, families of 3, 4, 5 children plus. Yeah. Saying that you're the reason, the population's great, blah, blah, blah. Great. He said similar comments in Rome, actually, recently this year as well, that people aren't producing, I guess, breeding.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. So I reckon this is true. If you have a look around, you just go around CBD areas and things, you see people with their walking little dogs,
My dog is my child.
It
sleeps in the bed with us.
Oh, no. There's a problem. He's got a problem, this poor guy.
He's got little nicknames, like parents give their kids like nicknames like Little Man, Munchkin, Angel Man, Angel Baby, Mr. Snuffleupagus. His real name's Arthur. He never gets called Arthur.
No, you never called it. It's too formal for a dog. Arthur's too formal. What about, does your husband have a nickname?
No. Try to think then.
No, none of those.
Sometimes we accidentally call each other dude or something. But
That's American. Thank you, Grace. Okay.
Duncan Garner, live.
Hey, good to see Eden Park too. Hopefully Eden Park loosens up and hopefully they have more than 6 concerts, because it is a debacle having such a massive white elephant sitting there and not being able to hold more than 6 concerts. There used to be no concerts, and the Wellsers around the stadium didn't like that. But it's a stadium. It's been there for decades. The people came after the stadium. So have more than 6. That's why we didn't get Taylor Swift and people like that. That's why we didn't get them. That's why we didn't get this talent, because they can't fit in there. because the concert's already taken up. So I say go Eden Park. And let's have more concerts there than less. It's a facility. Let's use it. Right, academics at AUT's law school say they feel like they're being silenced and can't speak out and are bullied when they do. It's all been revealed in a previously secret survey to which one of the university law leaders, Professor Paul Myberg, responded by saying, if you're that unhappy, please do us all a favour and leave. We'll hold the door open for you so that it doesn't hit your ass on the way out. Air whore. What on earth's going on? Jonathan Ayling is from the Free Speech Union and is with us now. This is still going on in universities. Jonathan, we've got a problem, haven't we?
We've got a major problem. We've been saying this for a number of years now, but when the Free Speech Union has released a series of reports on academic freedoms and what academics are telling us is a culture of fear in Auckland University and AUT and Massey and other universities around the country, the universities didn't want to talk about it. A couple of weeks ago, the New Zealand Initiative put out kind of the comprehensive, authoritative history of academic freedom in New Zealand. Again, universities didn't want to talk about it. And now when they do an internal survey, they get pretty much the same results that we got, and they still don't want to talk about it.
It's the thought police. What do they want? What do they want spoken about, and what do they not want spoken about?
Exactly, and that's occurring across our society, and around the West we've got a bit of a problem there. But within our universities, this is deeply troubling, because if we lose free speech and we lose academic freedom there, the flow-on effects really touch every part of our society. And universities should really be the one place any idea, any thought should be up for debate. There's lots of stupid nonsense, even hateful or harmful ideas out there, but you put those out there and you get experts and researchers and those that are helping us pursue knowledge to show why they're nonsense. And otherwise, who knows, maybe we actually develop a new perspective, and that's how we move forward.
We have to keep developing. You've got to discuss stuff. You may not agree with it, and we can say so. That's the greatest thing about ideas. It's shit, and here's why. Do you know what
That's
I mean?
right. And just imagine being a student in some of these contexts. I mean, the dean of the AUT Law School, who should be under a bit of pressure given these results, is someone that's saying free speech is a foreign concept. Her claim was that it comes from a Christian God, a capitalist ethic, an individuated self-manifestation. I mean, I don't think the Catholic Church was ever much of a fan of free speech, to be honest. Free speech is not a European concept. Free speech is the concept of a free society that wants to grow and develop. Without it, we cut ourselves off at the knees.
What I'm concerned about, Jonathan, is when it comes to free speech, is that people don't mind free speech. Some of these institutions, they don't mind free speech, and governments, they don't mind free speech, and politicians, they don't mind free speech, as long as you're agreeing with them. And as long as you're in their lane, you know what I mean? If you suddenly step outside their lane, oh, hang on, this is not acceptable. It's just another idea. Who says you've got a mortgage on the ideas, you know? So it's about, if you're in their lane, they don't mind free speech because it's their thought, but it's got to get wider than that.
But it's a bit of a nonsense claim to suggest that is free speech.
Exactly.
I mean, Noam Chomsky famously said that Stalin was in favor of free speech. so was Goebbels, as long as they agreed with it.
Yeah.
But if you're in favor of free speech, the concept, the philosophical idea there is that you are very much in favor of the very idea that your enemy holds, that your opponents hold. Otherwise, it's just speech. It's just ideas then. And we've actually, for most of humanity, used violence to silence those we disagree with and prop up those we do agree with. That's not free speech.
You know, for years, as I was a political reporter in Wellington, political parties used to say to me, "Oh, you're so biased," and it's because I'd done something that they didn't agree with, and that I didn't agree with their stuff or whatever, and it just was evidence against what they were doing, and they would line me up and try and shoot me, you know, on this basis. And then the week after you did something that was sort of more supportive of what they were doing, oh, you're back in line now. You know, no, I'm just dealing with facts, mate. You know, or dealing with the public reaction, you know?
Duncan, we're talking about trust a lot in our society at the moment, and unfortunately the breakdown of trust. And I don't want to minimize that as an issue. In a democracy, if the governed do not trust the institutions that govern them, there's a major issue.
Yeah.
But I hear more and more about people talking about making sure the government is trusted. No, we don't need to pursue the government being trusted. We need to pursue the government being trustworthy.
Yes.
We shouldn't pursue media being trusted as if that's the goal. The media needs to demonstrate that it is trustworthy, and that requires accountability and transparency. You don't get either of those without free speech, where people are able to challenge you, able to show where maybe error is occurring or bias is occurring, and you have that dialogue, and the best ideas and hopefully truth can float to the top. So I think really the democratic nature of our society, I don't don't want to over-egg it, but over the long term is on the line here.
You know, it has been recent cases too. Don Brash, 2018, was banned, I think, from a university. It was. He was banned from Massey?
Jan Thomas banned him from Massey University. That's right.
Yep. You just can't have that. I mean, you may not agree with Don Brash's thoughts on whatever he's talking about, what's the latest thing he's talking about, but you've got to give him a platform, and then you can take him apart with facts.
Well, and a somewhat more recent example and a somewhat more personal one, Duncan, many of your audience will be familiar what happened at Victoria University earlier this year, where I was invited on a free speech panel as a leader for free speech in New Zealand to speak about free speech in universities, and my presence there would, quote, make students unsafe. They said Corin Dan may be moderating the interview. He may call out Jonathan's nonsense if he says anything, but we can't have it. The ideas would still have been said. The harm would have been done. And you think this is a university, and I feel for these students who have been we've given into them, and we've babied them and infantilized them so much they are incapable of hearing ideas without having an almost physical reaction.
Yes.
And this does not bode well for the future of our society.
I see this. You say something, it's racist. That's sexist. It's not. It's questioning. It's questioning your thought, which is what you believe is the narrative that should exist only in society, the only narrative that should exist. What about this over here? I get this a lot with some students that I know who often contest some ideas with them, and they say, you can't say that. Why not? Go and explore it. It might be true, you know?
Exactly. And this idea of free speech but not hate speech, we've always accepted that there is absolutely hateful speech out there in New Zealand. There is bigotry, there's racism, there are nonsense ideas. But the best way for us to challenge those is to call them out, to know they're there, and to expose them. And I think this creation of two categories, free speech but not hate speech, it misses the fact that free speech does two things really well. And we like to talk about one more than the other. The first is that it helps us pursue this noble pursuit of truth and seek out knowledge in places where we otherwise might not have seen it. But the second thing it does is, even if ideas and speech is nonsense, at least it's revealing who we should be aware of. And there's this kind of idiot detection radar that's given us through free speech. And if someone is racist, if someone is bigoted or hateful, why wouldn't we want to know that? Why wouldn't we want to actually identify that in our society and be able to challenge that then just push it out of sight and pretend I can't see it anymore, I don't hear the ideas anymore, it doesn't exist. It's this really immature response, I think. Yeah.
Now, just finally, is there government legislation coming on this? I mean, it seems so ridiculous that we have to legislate for free speech, but is there a bill going through Parliament?
There's not. So there was in the coalition agreement, the agreement between the ACT Party and the National Party, there's an agreement that a requirement will be put in place for universities to implement free speech policies or face funding restrictions. That will eventually take a legislative form, hopefully. The Free Speech Union is looking to work with the Cabinet to bring that about. But Duncan,
that's
really
ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we have to legislate for free speech. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
That law shouldn't be needed here. We need better leadership from our university leaders, particularly deans of schools and vice-chancellors. Yeah, well, good luck waiting for that. I reckon they're all in the same box. Nice to see you. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate your time on the program. Cheers.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, right. 0800 863 293. You can get a hold of me on YouTube and TikTok. Just leave us a comment there. You see all the details there.
3 questions from the Editor-in-Chief. 1.
And number 1, how difficult is it for retailers right now? Well, it's really bad if you compare the last 3 months compared to the activity in the previous 3 months. Okay, the market was down 1.2% over 3 months. When you compare the 2 quarters, it amounted to $24 billion in fewer sales across the entire retail sector in New Zealand. That's just in 3 months. No wonder retailers are packing up and calling it a day. The money's dried up and people have made a habit of spending less. When will it bounce back? Well, you'd think when confidence rises, but have people made a habit of actually spending less forever in a day?
Duncan Garner, live.
At number 2 today, how's this? How's this one? And this is a real worry. This is a real concern that I have. This is Tauranga, and I've been in Tauranga the past few days, and it's more stark there than anywhere else that I've been. But it's the main street, the CBD. I've lost count of the number of empty shops there. Countless homeless people sleeping in doorways at night, and the bars and restaurants seem slow and empty in the CBD area. Tauranga CBD has an issue, folks. I think it's officially dying. Yet they have decided to sink all this money into upgrading the council buildings and the big new library and everything, but it seems like it's dying. I wonder if anyone will come. I mean, it's all the actions in Mount Maunganui. I mean, all the action on all fronts.
3.
And at number 3 today, why is business confidence so high? This is strange, but business confidence has soared 21 points in the past month, which is quite big, and that's just in 4 weeks. I wonder why. It's really simple. Most people believe that rock bottom's been hit, you see, so there's only one way to go, which is up. This is the business confidence reports, being up. It's all relative. It couldn't drop. It's hit rock bottom, so it's only got one way to go. Good morning.
Duncan Garner, live.
Okay, I want to talk about this gaming, this massive big gaming, we call it a festival if you like, or big gaming setup coming to Auckland this weekend. You've never seen the size of this thing before. Kicks off this weekend at Spark Arena. Split over 2 sessions. The day will be jam-packed. This is their words. Jam-packed with things to play, see and do. Watch the live finals of the Rise Cup featuring Fortnite. Prize pool of 240k. Take part in epic side quests. Listen to talks from industry figures and interact with New Zealand game studios. Explore sponsor activations. All the stuff. It sounds like it's huge. I've got some tickets too, which will be exciting. It goes on and on, but the guru is Duane Mutu, Esports Federation of New Zealand. He joins me now. G'day, mate. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
This is huge, eh?
It is ginormous,
isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about gaming before and different things, but we're talking about the biggest gaming event. I mean, gaming is the biggest sector. We always say that. It is huge.
But it really is now.
But this is literally the biggest thing you're ever going to see in gaming.
So, in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, for sure.
So, you've got the entire arena, and I've been talking to the guys behind it, and they're really excited. And I can see, just from what I've seen, I've never seen anything like the scale before.
Yeah. So,
who's here? Who's coming? What's it all about?
Yeah, well, look, we've got 2 sessions like you're talking about. So in the morning, we're talking about Fortnite, biggest game in the country. 50 players will be competing for $240,000 in prize pools, $35,000 for the winner. But they're the best of the best. So there was over 1,500 entries whittled down, and then they're going to compete. So they're actually live on stage.
Biggest money in New Zealand so far? It would be, wouldn't
for sure.
Yeah,
huge.
It's good money, eh?
Amazing
big
money.
Yeah.
Big money. So you've got that going on. And then you've got NBA 2K25, which drops today. So that's going to have some celebrities jamming that.
Yep.
Today's it's out for those die-hard hoopsters. And then there's also the Valorant finals, which is the Red Bull home ground. So that's the best 2 teams in the country. They'll compete in the afternoon, and the winner will go across to Asia. And then the whole, we're involved with it, so the whole arena is going to be gamified. I don't want to say too much. You've got to get down and check it out. But it's super cool.
Really exciting, isn't it? And yes, that's the place to be. I was actually with someone earlier in the week who's going to be there on behalf of Spark, and
it's going to be unreal. And then I know there's, people always want to see the talent that's coming across. So the big one that all the kids are talking about is Vinduli. So Vinduli's a big Fortnite streamer coming across from Australia. I think lands this morning, will be in venue and then ready to go.
So these are international stars, and
international stars, and
so the kids will know them when they're down there. They'll know the.
Well, I had a funny story because, as you know, right, when you got kids, a lot of people they're used to the traditional stars, and then all of a sudden people are kind of hitting me up, and it's like they say to me, "You've got some person that my kid's into," right? So they know who they are on YouTube, right?
Like, for them, it's a household name. For us, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, you're like, who?
It's John Kerwin, isn't it?
That's it. It's like, to us, it's John Kerwin, Israel, these type of people. But for the youth, they watch YouTube and Twitch all the time. And so Vinduli's one of those stars. Taylor Morgan's another one. And then we have the best in New Zealand too. So we have a lot of gaming stars.
So how good are we compared to these international guys?
Look,
and why are we behind?
So structurally, we're actually in front. So the federation, we've talked about that. We were
as
recognised.
Players.
But the structure of that's really advanced. So as far as us being sort of able to move forward, that's good. But playing wise, we don't get the exposure because we can't compete because of this whole thing they call about ping. Like, for example, we're in New Zealand. Our internet speed cannot connect to some of the US and Europe.
Really?
And that means that we can't take on the best, right?
We're being shut out.
We're shut out down in the Pacific, right? And so the issue with that is that we literally can't compete with the best. So we have to go offshore to do that.
I thought we had, world-class internet.
We have world-class internet. It's amazing. But what happens is it's just the speed in which it connects to the servers which are based around the world. And so it's the game itself is sitting there.
Because of where we are
location-wise, geographically. It's nothing to do with the speed.
What if we put another cable up there? Would that help?
I think, that's where it's going, right? So what you're seeing now is, when I was in it early on, you could barely play against Australia, right? So in New Zealand, people don't realise how good our internet speed is. So we have everything going for us. Good structure. We're Western, so we're quite affluent. Amazing internet. Big shout out to Spark. Obviously, it is amazing.
Seriously, that 2008 decision to put in ultra fast broadband, to put in take out the copper and put in whatever goes in there.
Yeah,
amazing.
And so
best infrastructure thing ever.
And that's why Korea, like when we talk about the home of esports to start with, it was because they built amazing internet. And then if we look at tournaments we run of late, we can now have tournaments on a server in Guam. and that means you can compete from the west coast of America down to Invercargill. So that's
pretty
closing the
incredible,
gaps,
yeah.
and that means we become world class. But the simple version is, we do have world-class talent, and we're obviously, like every other sporting nation, we're going to get there. We just need to have exposure to the best in the world.
That's right. My son, I kept him away from Fortnite for as long as I could.
Of course.
This is like creeps into their life, and you hear, why isn't he meeting me at the field today? Well, he's over in his mate's place. What's he doing? I can't find them. They're in the room, right? So they all play, they're all linked up and they're all playing all the time, and he's got better at it. But man, it's a real I wouldn't say addiction, but it's really just these guys just can't get enough. One of these kids just can't get off it.
Yes.
Which is a bit of a worry. You got to keep them moving. You get them outside a bit, don't you?
Yeah. So look,
do you worry about that? About how much?
I mean, people ask me that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a parent. I've got a couple of kids. I'm involved with traditional sport. But what I say is that's almost a parental thing, right? So what we're going to do is people. Because there's no stop, right? You think about movies, all of us would watch, continue, but they stop 2-3 hours. So we have to stop them and get them outside.
That's our job, right?
It's our job. As parents.
I like that. So it's very easy for us to say, blame the device and blame the computer and blame this. No. What are they seeing us do? Well, what's our behaviour like? Well, that's what how are we looking at night,
And that's kind of what I say to people. So where we would, I always use this example, right? So you've got, when we were growing up, you go and watch, your grandparents would sit there, watch Coronation Street, then you watch your dad come home and watch the sport.
Forced to watch. You didn't have Donkey Kong or anything those days?
Well, no, at that time, then it became spacey, so then we'd just leave the house and go pay 20 cents down to the fish and chip shop with the cousins, right?
Remember that? I like the, I remember the sit-down Pac-Man,
Yeah. Pac-Man.
But it was a table. Remember?
It was a table, but also, people don't remember, the young ones thinking about Fortnite, they don't realise that you used to have to put discs in. Yeah. It'll take like 3 hours to load a game. You'd play for like 20 minutes, and then you'd have to load it for another 3 hours.
Remember the noise of the computer before? Floppy disk.
Shows the age, right? But been around a long time.
Yeah. So you're excited. What will this do for New Zealand in terms of a spin-off? What will it do?
Well, again, all those things we're talking about as far as, being on a global stage, this is world class. I've been lucky enough to be part of major events around the world, the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, and yes, they are, there's esports and those things, and this is right there. I mean, I can't say exactly what's in there as far as, the high level games, but when people come into it, they will see a spectacle that they've never seen in the country, and that will elevate us in the global stage.
There's something special in there, isn't there? It's quite special, right?
It's very, very special, and like I said, it's coming from someone who's been around these things.
Yeah.
And we're talking.
So for you to be pumped about this, because you've seen all this stuff a million times, but you reckon this is actually.
Oh, this is awesome. And to your point about what it's going to do, I think when people hear about this, we've talked about it, other people talk about it, but when they walk in and they're going to go, I didn't actually realise what we're talking about. We're talking about, the size of the LED. We're talking about the amount of cameras that are going in there. We're talking about the spectacle, the gamification. That's on the level of kind of like the top events in the world. So I think New Zealand's very lucky to have that in there. I know it sounds a bit of a side job, but it truly is. It's really special, really, really special.
Yeah.
And
that's why I'm doing this today, because I did pick up on this when it first came out. I thought, shit, we should be doing something on this, because I mean, we might do something on the flower show. Well, that was canned, wasn't it? But you do the biggest car market in the world or whatever. But this is bigger, because this is probably what's this worth to New Zealand now as an industry?
Well, as an industry, I mean, we're looking at getting close to sort of. What are we, about 500 million or something, rather? It will become, really, pushing up there. And obviously, if you look at somewhere like Finland, another country that really invested. I mean, that's another thing for us as a sector we've got to really invest in.
I think we need
supporting.
I think we need to. What are our kids learning at school, and can they be developers of the software? Can they be developers of these games? Because that's where the money is, right?
It's where the money is, and people don't realise. We've got great studios here. The household names, big game studios, but we don't have enough talent. A lot of talent's getting pushed offshore to go and develop these games. But
do we know what to do in this space? I mean, do we have the curriculum, and do we have the education system?
In the last couple of years, yes. And so we've just got to slowly bring it together. And obviously, if you look at, a lot of sectors, and, I can say that, Rangatahi Māori, Pacifica, they love this space.
Yeah, they really do. This is home base.
And this is home base. And so this transition of going, okay, you could, work in the trades and, fair play to them, but this is... They understand this, coding, developing, and you can work for companies all around the world from Aotearoa, so you don't even have to leave.
And so I reckon this needs to be fast-tracked into curriculum. This needs to be options at school, because if we talk about tomorrow's jobs, they're here now, right? So these are the jobs we're talking about. And we say trades, yes, it's all very 1980s to say trades and trades, and we all need trades, we all need to build
right?
But we also need our kids. There's one way to inspire boys. I'll talk about boys for a start. The rates of success in school at the moment are terrible for boys, right? And Māori boys especially. One way to light the fire underneath their bloody butthole is to get them involved in this sort of stuff. Then they'll go, wow, I get this.
Yes.
And you won't lose them ever.
No, and so at this particular event, there are keynote speakers. We have game developers down there which make these games. So that's the other part of this, where they can come down and actually go, I love the spectacles. You've kind of got them in, and they'll understand that. Parents will go, wow. But then how do you leave them with something tangible, right? To your point about the future, this is part of what we're trying to do here as far as making it happen.
Do our universities, do our polytechs, do they have programming courses that can be a stepping stone?
Yes, and now we do. So there's multi pathways into this coding and tech, and there's groups like DNA out there down in Rotorua and around the country. Plus, universities of Waikato have an actual game facility.
Are they represented here this weekend?
So they're all down there. So this is the point, right? So if people are listening going, should I get down? It's like, yes, if you're into gaming, of course. As a spectacle, of course, but also just for the young ones coming through. We want them to go, hey, go and speak to our top studios, what goes into making games.
There's pathways, This can, if they don't want to go overseas, because not everyone wants to go and work overseas, you can, as you say, you can do it from here. You can learn here, train here, and there are opportunities now. I think it's bloody exciting.
It is awesome.
You can't beat them, you join them,
That's exactly it.
Good on you, mate. Hey, you'll be around this weekend?
Absolutely, I'll be there. We'll be behind the scenes doing so I look forward to seeing you and the family.
I've got a bunch of little kids, boys, not little, 14, going, where's Fortnite?
I look forward to seeing you.
Okay, mate, nice to see you. Thank you so much for being available. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, lots of feedback coming in. Duncan, I've had, this is, kids should be learning programming. This is from Dave. The amount computers play in their life is super important now. Go programming. MB says, my go-to game was COD MW3, COD M3. What's that, mate? Dave says, man, I wish I could go. How do we get you there, Dave? How can we get you there? How can we get Dave Monster there? I don't know. I'm not sure we can. I don't know. I'll see if there's another spare ticket. Dave says, I've got 5k hours in Rust, 1.5k hours in Fortnite, 2.5k hours in Conan Exiles. God, you guys are diehards. Also, a lot of the top gamers are turning into gym rats these days. Yeah, they are. That's their exercise. That's their break that they take. Is that right, Forrester?
Yeah, I reckon so.
What do they do?
That's COD Modern Warfare 3 is what...
What's that?
Was it Dave who said that?
Yeah. What's that?
It's a video game.
Oh, you know about the same?
Yeah. I used to play Valorant quite a bit. That's the one he was just talking about there before. I haven't done it in about a year or two, but a couple of years ago, I did some competitions.
Why you were a gamer in competitions?
Yeah.
Did you put that on your CV when I heard you?
No.
Okay. How good were you?
I was decent. I was up there. I mean, during when I was in lockdowns, I was playing a whole heap, and so I was pretty good then.
The reason why I'm really interested, because it can create opportunities for people, right?
Yep.
And so not everyone wants to go and be a builder.
Yeah, totally.
And the dropout rate of young Māori at NCA level is really and across the board.
Totally.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Whoa. And it's interesting you say that about did you put it on your CV? Because realistically,
should have.
A lot of people are claiming that it improves your reaction times. It socializes people who normally wouldn't talk to others online. You get to kind of develop these team building skills and stuff. And that's not to say it's a golden pill or anything. But
yeah, no.
But genuinely, I think some of those things are probably true.
Yeah, I reckon they are too. And I've seen it with you developing this show. When you were involved in developing this show, I could see that your brain, I could see your knowledge, I could see what you were doing on the systems here. You knew something, Yeah. You were smart. Okay, good stuff, mate.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Yeah, keep the feedback coming in as well. So we had the top secret. You may not be interested in this, but I'll tell you anyway. We had the top secret premiere on the red carpet last night of Celebrity Treasure Island 2024. So it was all in Newmarket last night in Auckland, and it all kicks off for you in the public next Monday. So it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. How's that, Forrester? Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. The Celebrity Treasure Island is going to be on 3 nights a week. Ooh. I know, we're getting by monster. So. We're stuffing it down your throats, basically. That's what we're doing. And you can ask me anything right now. While we're talking about this, ask me anything. And that includes you, Forrester, and Isaac. This is the first time that we saw everyone since we came off the island. So everyone was in there last night, the whole cast and everything, and different media and whatnot. And it was sort of weird. It was exciting. It was quite cool. MP Carmo Sepuloni was there. Tamati Coffee, Warangi Kopi. So all the cast was there. Now I think we were all a bit nervous, actually. We were all a bit nervous as to how the first show would play out, the first episode would play out. So they played it for us. They put the whole thing on for us last night. They really pumped it up too. Hyped it's pretty good. Who would get caught out saying nasty shit about other people? And there are a few of them. Oh, did they say that? I can't let on too much, but and so that's all that. That's what we saw last night. So you'll see this on Monday. I took my mum and I took 2 close friends and their young daughter, who were diehards, and they were buzzing about it. So they got around and saw the hosts and different cast and everything. Took photos and it was great. Yeah, it was a buzz. What do I make of the first show? They've done a great job. It's exciting. They spent 9 months on this. Some of the people on this production have spent 9 months on it. So it builds plenty of hype. There's a definite villain who's emerged really quickly. How long will he stay is the thing. What a rat. What a lying rogue. What he got up to that we didn't know about. What a rogue. The scenery is amazing and the production looks incredible. And it's clear there's tension between the two teams really early on. I better not say any more. Some early rivalries. I'm going to say it's weird looking at yourself in this sort of environment, though. I'm used to sort of seeing yourself on telly and that, doing news and politics and stuff, but this is outside my comfort zone. I'll be honest about that. Forrester, any questions?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
No! Any questions, Forrester? I was just talking about the red carpet event last night in Celebrity Treasure Island.
Yes, how was it? Yes.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, how was the screening? Did you?
Yeah, it was massive.
You went and watched it?
Yeah, it was on the big screen.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Was it in a big theatre?
Yeah. And you sort of, everyone's watching it and you're sitting there going, oh no, did I say that? Look at me.
Was there any drama in the first episode?
There's an arsehole.
Right, okay,
there's
so
an
they
arsehole.
just go straight into it.
They go straight into, because I knew there was something. I knew, there's something.
Was the person that was an asshole, don't say anything, but were they sitting there kind of squirming?
They were there.
Yeah, going, oh.
They basically lied. They cheated.
Right.
They cheated.
Can't wait to find out who this is.
Yeah. It won't surprise you. It will not surprise you. Yeah. Any questions from you, Ozzy, about Celebrity Treasure?
What'd you wear? I don't know if you've talked about this, but...
I took my mum.
Nice.
Yeah, she was...
Oh, yeah, did you rock the bandana or no?
No, I didn't. I went in a jacket, a t-shirt, jeans, and drinking boots.
Classic.
Yeah. Just classic cool, Just
yeah.
You don't want to play it up or down. Just but no Spanky. There was no Spanky Jackson. Spanky wasn't there, which is a bit of a shame. So everyone wanted to see Spanky. Right. What do you know about the children's charity Variety? Now, Variety is one of our oldest charities. Does great work, been around a long time, and the help gets to the people. The people, I mean the kids. It's a children's charity, really. The money goes to the kids. And they're selling tickets. It's a big fundraising month at the moment. They're selling tickets, and the winner will get their hands on a $70,000 Ute, a Ford Wildtrak Ute, $70,000, brand new Wildtrak Ranger, which I've been driving. They're amazing vehicles, and it's limited to just 12,000 tickets. So you're in with a serious chance. Jump on variety.co.nz for more details. But Variety, who are they? What sort of difference have they made? I spoke to its boss, Susan Glasgow, a little bit earlier this week.
30 plus years in New Zealand.
It's probably one of the oldest charities, isn't it?
Probably one of them, yeah.
Yeah. And so are you having? Tell us about yourself. So how many people do you look after? What's the need out there?
The need is huge. Currently, we're looking after about 7,500 children through our Kiwi Kids sponsorship program, which is amazing. But we've got 3,000 children on the Kiwi Kids sponsorship wait list, hoping someone's going to sponsor them.
Wow.
It's gone up. When I started, 300 kids on the wait list, so 10 times.
So how do you get on the waiting list? What's your need?
The need is huge in the communities, but essentially people just come to our website and apply for sponsorship, but it can take up to 12 to 24 months to get a sponsor for a child at the moment.
Right, so and we saw those ads on TV over the years and years about sponsor a child in Africa, $1 a day. Is this a similar type? You give a certain amount of money to Variety?
It's exactly the same, and it goes to provide basic essentials for children, things like school uniforms, books, any extracurricular things that children need just to have a good and worthwhile life.
They're still basics, aren't they?
Basics, real basics, pyjamas, underpants, knickers.
Yeah. And so we're seeing a real increase in poverty. I mean, we know through COVID and off the back of that there has been a really tough economic time. Yeah. And so usually people that are doing it tough in those parts are the lower socioeconomic areas. They lose their jobs first and it's just tough. You noticed all this?
Absolutely. And so, we're hearing from families every day. I'm hearing from caregivers who are, making really, really hard decisions, cutting their children's hair to save money on shampoo. When you're thinking about making really drastic measures like that, it's a really bad and dire situation in our communities across New Zealand.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And you plug gaps, but how do you turn it around?
I think raising awareness is one of the things, and having conversations like this, making more people aware. There's that narrative that, the demonisation of people who are living in poverty. No one chooses it. No one wants it. Kids don't choose it. They have no control.
That's correct. Yeah, and they're the victims of it. And
Absolutely.
So you can't judge, although people do. And How are you dealing with this government? How have you found their approach to charity?
But we're trying to engage at every level with every government all the time. So, we get good responses. I think it's about telling the story from the coalface, but I don't think any one government or any one charity is going to solve this problem for our country.
And do you find sometimes there's a fatigue around charity and a fatigue around poverty and that sort of that whole? And I wish there wasn't, but sometimes I wonder when you bring these issues up with different agencies and so forth, you'll get a bit of feedback which is really negative, and you try to ignore it. But
yeah, look, I think there's a cost of giving crisis a bit at the moment. But in saying that, New Zealanders are really generous people, and so I think they will give. People do give. So we're really fortunate. I want my 3,000 children sponsored, because if I had those kids sponsored, I'd have 3,000 more to take their place the next day.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
That's the impetus.
And so how does it work then? So they get, is it $50?
So sponsors step up through our Kiwi Kids sponsorship program and commit to providing $50 per month to Variety, and we front end a Kiwi Kids sponsorship grant to a child, and they claim against that, and we pay providers directly.
And so so in these families, are they employed? It's a mix, I suppose. Are they on benefits?
Absolute mix. With the working poor, we have families on benefits. We are we scrutinise very much the income levels of the families we support, and typically income's measured in the same way as WINS does. If you've got a community services card, you typically qualify for Kiwi Kids sponsorship. Yeah,
the cost of living, inflation's deadly, but when you are on the breadline anyway, and your tyre blows out, or you need something, you fall behind, you get a speeding ticket, you fall behind, you get a parking ticket, that just compounds itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can't, afford, one of the signs of material deprivation is you can't afford a surprise $500 bill. Most of the families we work alongside,
lots of people can't do that.
No, exactly. $500 is a lot of money just to drop when you're not expecting to.
And so, what do you do about that?
We have an emergency fund that we support our families through, and we have individual grants. So that provides for larger ticket items, things like a digital device or a bed or medical and mobility equipment that families often need. 27% of kids living in poverty are suffering with a disability. So then you've got all of that to contend with too. Yeah, that's that. And I agree. Do these families know what they're entitled to? Do they know? And has it been explained to them what they're entitled to from work and income? Have they always been front-footing that and telling them what they can have? We have families. We had a dad who came to us, and he had his children. He'd been living in an emergency accommodation, and he'd been moved 2 or 3 times. He'd needed 3 separate school uniforms for 3 of his children, so he'd had to borrow money for WINS, which he was paying back at $5 a week. But he couldn't borrow any more money, and he'd been moved again, so he came to us and we paid for their kids' school uniforms. See, this is not it's his responsibility, but it's not his fault. No. So if you keep getting moved zones, then you have to go to the next school, which is upsetting because you lose your friend base for the kids, and then they have to get the new uniform. Absolutely, yeah, and it's really really expensive. And well, I wonder about school uniforms, to be honest, if the whole thing's a rort actually. The expense of them. When you're creating so many of them, why are they so high? Yeah, it's really, really expensive, I think, to have a school uniform. And it's a barrier, right? We've got families who share our school uniform. So kids go to school on their designated days, and siblings will have, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the other sibling goes on Tuesday, Thursday, because there's one school uniform in the house. And the successive governments have known this, because your MPs know, they're on the ground and they're electorates. You can't say they don't know this. They hear this. I mean, if I hear it, they hear it. And nothing's done about it. We're doing something about it. Yeah, I know you are, and you're great. But there's a number of agencies like you that are plugging these holes, but the holes and gaps keep getting wider and bigger, which means you have to raise more and be better and get wider. And yeah, absolutely. And
pressure on you guys.
We're always asking. I'm shameless. I'll ask anybody for money.
Good. Yeah.
I have no shame.
And you find people are really forthcoming.
I think people don't necessarily know what the need is. So I think, we have people sometimes calling us saying, there's no bed poverty in New Zealand. Everybody's got a bed. Everybody's got a uniform. It's just not true. It isn't true. It might have been true at one point in time, but it hasn't been true in New Zealand for 50 years. 50, 60 years. Yeah. The days of the milk and honey and the 6 people on the benefit, So I look at some of the pictures that you sent me around the bedding situation in families. And that's probably not the worst of it, but it's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. And I see this in the north as well. It's quite widespread up there. What can you do about that? Because it's actually
the mould that you've shown me around some of these beds, that'll kill kids.
Yeah, it does. It does. 1 in 10 kids in New Zealand doesn't have a bed of their own to sleep in. There are
Is that high?
Well, it's that high. 27,000 preventable hospitalisations because of where children are sleeping and the preventable diseases that they're getting. Rheumatic fever, bronchiolitis, all of that stuff, and then it compounds their capacity to get a great education, to go to school. Parents have to take time off work. It's just a disaster.
Yeah, and you've also got different generations now, intergenerational poverty in terms of welfare dependency. Mm-hmm. In the north, you see families that haven't worked for 30 years because they were laid off. The freezing works closed. Dad never worked. Yeah. Son didn't work. He saw Dad not working, so it just repeats itself. What is the answer, do you think, to some of these big structural issues?
Do you know what I think about communities, and I think about the families that we deal with, and they are incredibly resilient, and they are smart, and they have agency, and they want to do the best for their kids. And so I think that what I'm seeing is that the families that are coming to organisations like Variety are the ones who are putting their children first because they're asking for help, and it's really, really hard to ask for help and admit that you need it. So I don't know what the answer is, but all I can say is that, families who are doing it tough and know they're doing it tough and ask for help, they're the ones that should be bolstered and helped and applauded.
Yeah, that's right. But when's the payoff for them? When's the bit where they can say, "Oh, we're doing okay now"? Because to me, the struggle's real and it's constant. Yeah. And it's you get up the next day and it's the same again. You get up the next day, it's the same again.
Yeah. Look, I hear from caregivers they take their children to the library so they can do their homework. So they sit outside the locked library at night to access the free Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, yeah, I've seen that.
So. And that's smart. It's a smart thing to do to educate your children in the hope that they will have a better future. So, I think families are working really, really hard to, give the kids what they need and have the experiences.
Is there a device poverty? Is it?
The digital divide is huge.
Massive, is it?
Yeah, absolutely huge. So
people don't see that, do they? They don't. All you see is kids with phones, and you think they've all got them.
Yeah, no, kids don't. And, children are borrowing equipment from school and then they have to give them back at the end of the day. They can't take them home. There's one device in the house. And so if you're trying to apply for a job, your child's trying to do homework, you've got multiple siblings, one device doesn't cut it, limited access to the internet, or you might have a plan that's, limited, and so then you run out of data, and then you've got,
Does it get you down? You're constantly in the struggle, right?
Makes me angry.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Makes me really, really angry.
Yeah, because we've gone downhill. Because New Zealand, it wasn't like this and now it is, and it's gone like this so rapidly.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in Hawke's Bay in a single-parent household in an estate house, but I never felt poor.
No.
Kids feel poor now. People feel really poor in our country.
Even with two parents can be
even
working.
with two parents working,
And I look at the benefit levels as well, and you look at the cost of living, and so it no longer covers it.
Doesn't keep up, no. And it hasn't kept up for years and
decades,
years and years.
Yeah.
And you're penalised if you do get work. So, your benefit is impacted when you're working.
It's designed to fail you.
Yeah, it really is designed to fail you. And it's, if it's failing the adults, what's it doing to the kids? We've got a little boy who was asked by his dad to choose which 4 meals to miss in a week, which he had to nominate, breakfast on a Thursday, dinner on a Saturday, lunch on a Friday.
That's an organised family.
Yeah, it's an organised family, but to make the budget stretch. And so if you're thinking, he's 7, he's a 7-year-old child choosing which meals to miss that. Ongoing.
So you're fundraising at the moment. You've got a ute that you.
Oh yeah, we're always fundraising, Duncan.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So you got a big ute, big fancy flashy ute. You buy your tickets because this is a good ute.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing. I would buy tickets if I was allowed to enter. $25 to enter and win this incredible Ford Ranger car worth $75,000.
Yeah, they're great cars.
Only 12,000 tickets, so actually chances are very, very high.
It's actually not bad.
No, it's really good. It's really good. And it's an amazing vehicle. So we've got a long-standing partnership with Ford, who are incredible, and so we're raffling this incredible vehicle.
Wow! So let's hope that goes to a good home. I mean, I tell you what, it's 12,000 tickets. It's not like Lotto,
No, it's not like Lotto.
It's not Lotto with good luck, 1 in 3 million chances. There's 1 in 12. If you get 1 in 12,000 here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's a brand new Ford Ranger. I've seen it out the front. It looks fantastic. So how can people get hold of you if they want to donate, if they want to give you something, if they want to buy a ticket? What do they do?
Go to the website www.variety.org.nz. Yeah, and I would implore anybody who has capacity to sponsor a Kiwi kid because you will transform a child's life. Yeah, you can.
And if you can afford $50,
$50 a month. Yeah,
$50 a month. Yeah. Maybe nothing to you, it'll be the world to them. So get hold of the guys at Variety. And the address was just there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you too.
Yeah, welcome. And that's Susan Glasgow from Variety. A lot of feedback's coming during that interview as well. This is from Troy. He says, don't have kids if you can't afford to look after them. It's pretty blunt, isn't it? Don't have kids if you can't afford to look after them. Well, on the surface of it, it seems like a fair comment, but it's not always the case in society, is it? Duncan, second-hand uniforms are the best, says Tooks. I had hand-me-downs. My kids did as well. Far out. Boys wreck the stuff really quickly. I came from a big family. Uniforms are expensive. Pieces of cloth anyway. I didn't care. Kids, though, when they're with the second-hand ones, they get hassled. Yeah, I hear you on that one. Dave, this is what MB, my old used to buy me crappy shoes that increased my height by 3 inches. That's what Winston Peters has got. Shoes that make him 3 inches taller. Have a look next time you see him. Winston's got the high shoes to make him get to 5'8". They're meant to be brown, but these were more dark red. Trauma. Dark. You do not want to go to school in dark red shoes. Dark red shoes, Forrester? No.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like you get bullied.
You get hassled, wouldn't you?
I'm just kidding.
you would get hassled. At the wrong boys' school, you get hassled for dark red shoes, I bet you. Also, Duncan says, Dave, school uniforms are pushed to equal out the kids, but when you have second-hand uniforms, you get labelled poor. That's what happened to me, says Dave. Yeah, National told Wins they can't tell you what you're entitled to, whereas under Labor, they push Wins to tell you what you can get. Yeah, it's probably true. And MB has sent me $10. Super chat. $10 has been sent as a call to the show. So, do they take change? You sent 20. Anyway, so we'll get some change to you. That's good. How does that work, Isaac? So someone just sent me $10.
MB, very generous fella.
Thank you.
He sent through some money. I don't know the real ins and outs of it. Forrester knows it probably a little bit better than I do.
Yeah, but we got
some
money.
As far as I can tell, literally just sent us $10.
Money in the bank.
Yeah,
we're going well.
Yeah,
This is good. Duncan, Nomads. Did you guys know what Nomads are? As far as shoes are, you don't, eh?
No, they're a football club in Christchurch.
No, they were bad shoes. Treks and Nomads. I was a Nomads guy, but I think the girls wore Treks. I don't know. Just quickly, also on Eden Park, more concerts or fewer concerts, or the same?
Oh man, see, I'm a big music guy, so I would love more concerts.
Love more concerts.
Yeah, it just makes sense. You have a big stadium there, a great 100%. Stadium for concerts.
Use it. How many times a year are they allowed?
6.
6.
Yeah,
until 2
years ago, none.
Wow.
Yeah, I can understand a certain limit, right?
I
totally get that. But
how many does Go Media Stadium get? Do you know?
Who wants to go there for a concert?
Yeah. Pearl Jam's there in November. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, but Pearl Jam should be in Eden Park.
Yeah.
Didn't we limit ourselves with Taylor Swift because she wanted to do 2 shows?
Taylor Swift wanted 2 shows and we only had 1 left, so we lost her to Sydney.
So we're quite literally limiting ourselves.
Do you know how many New Zealanders went to Sydney for that concert?
So many.
25,000.
Can you imagine how much money that would bring in?
20. Oh, mate. But how much money was taken out of the country with 25,000 Kiwis going there? You know?
Yeah.
Only 10,000 came back, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they ended up staying there. Yeah. You believe that one? Eden Park more concerts, says Dave. We'll look at something on that next week, I think. That's us, folks. Thanks so much for your company today. And thank you for tuning in to Duncan, Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live with Lester's Oil, the premium New Zealand-made fish oil. It's a supplement backed by a study. Support joint heart and brain health. Use the code Duncan for 10% off right now. You can get to abouthealth.co.nz or take as directed. Read the label, About Health Auckland. Also, you can call them right now, 0800 999 309. 0800 999 309. Mention my name, get 10% off. The feedback's still coming in. Great show, team, says MB. And Dave says 6 concerts is shameful. There should be more than 12. There is room for extra. There is so room for extra. Look at the shoulder season right now. Weather's good. Bring them in. Bring them in, you know. Anyway, thanks for your feedback and your support today. Really appreciate it. To my team, we've got Isaac and Forrester and Zarina. Thank you so much. Remember, life's no dress rehearsal. This is it. You're living it. There's no curtain raiser. You're in it. Enjoy it. Take care. Ta-da, folks.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.